Do all high schoolers think the same?
No.
I don't need for the video.
Oh, shit.
They don't think the same.
High schoolers are kids. 3, 2, 1.
Damn, motherfuckers are in high school in 2023, damn.
I feel like to say high schoolers in general are kids is almost like defeating the people who are in the minority. Like for people like me who have grown up more just mature for my age and I guess fitting more an adult mindset, I feel like I can't say for myself that I'm a kid because I definitely make adult decisions time and time again. I mean, there are people who still have the mindset of kids, but I can't say high schoolers in general are kids.
I feel like
If you're 17 years old, can you say I'm mature for my age? Like, I don't think I'm mature.
Yeah, it's like we're listening to a 17-year-old say that, so you could almost see like, okay, yeah, like you haven't lived enough to know that you are a kid, but you don't know that when you're young still. You like, right? You don't know that.
I feel like with high school, it's such a broad statement to say high schoolers because there's a giant difference between a freshman and a senior. Like it is, that's why like when they try to date each other, it's like, why is that 18-year-old trying to date the 14-year-old? Like it just doesn't make sense. I feel like it would be naive to ignore the fact that like, especially anyone who's a senior, they're about to be a legal adult.
I think kids need mentoring. That's how I see it. I mean, adults too need mentoring, but I think kids need that extra help and that extra push. I've seen many kids who have been forced to be older or act older as they are to mature faster. That's why I went for agree.
I want to move.
You want to move? Yeah, go for it.
I moved because I feel like, especially at that 16 to 18 age, you're constantly planning for your future where it's actually difficult to live in your childhood. It's just kind of, you're unable to live as a child. So it's like, how can you consider yourself one when you're constantly planning for your adult life and future?
But it's also very kid-like to like pick a side and then I'm gonna go to that other side. Like that's very kid-like, isn't it?
Well, it's kid-like to not understand that 18 is adult, 17 and below is kid.
Okay, so maybe I kind of get what they're saying. What are the stages, right? You got child, kid. When do you become a young adult?
Well, you can be a responsible kid. You can be an irresponsible adult. Like, you can have a kid with a lot of real adult-like tasks or
You're a
things.
stupid adult and you act stupid.
Yeah.
But you're in the category of
You're
kid.
still in a, yeah.
Yeah, because you can be a child actor and have more responsibilities than a high schooler.
Yes.
But you're still a child.
kid.
You're a child.
You're still a kid.
Only when I became 23, 24, 25 that I realized, oh, a 16-year-old high schooler is a real fucking kid.
Yeah, you're a baby.
In school and quarantine, I'm still living in that middle schooler mindset. I'm still basically like a kid living and preparing for my future, which I'm clearly not ready for.
Why'd you go to disagree?
Word. So like,
It's just a kid.
adult.
She's just a
kid. Leave her alone.
I kind of want to be thought of as a kid because it's kind of like, oh, he's a kid, right? It's like an excuse almost. Like you're allowed to mess up. I really can't like look at my classes full of 18-year-olds and say these are adults. Like I feel like now it's later and later we're turning into adults. I don't feel like we turn in. I mean, of course, there's people that have to pay bills at 16. But to say a high schooler is an adult, I feel like I like to know that I can grow so much more from that. Like, oh, I did that when I was a kid, not, as an adult.
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. Especially when you got these kids that were probably in high school during COVID times when they weren't even they weren't even able to be at the school, and then they're coming here. We have so much responsibilities.
I mean, freshman, sophomore, y'all were at the house.
Y'all at the house. Y'all were chilling.
Yeah, you need those years when you're younger. You need that interaction, social thing.
The outside of school, inside of school, friend groups, isolation, like everything. You need to go through it all, but oh man.
Today's high schoolers have it harder than previous generations.
What y'all think?
3.
Today's high schoolers have it harder than previous generations. In terms of what?
Yeah, I would say yes if you add the COVID aspect.
I'm trying to think, okay, curricular, I don't know what they're doing now, like harder just kind of like being in high school.
Or has it always been the same? Like, yeah, there's still the same higher gifted classes, honors classes.
I feel like high school nowadays, kids are getting away with anything and like it's more lenient or lax. From what I've seen
Only anecdote I have is my older sister being a junior and senior teacher, and she said that for the program they're supposed to write like 8 lessons a week. The parents complaining they dumbed down to 2 a week. But it was for 10 years at that school, 8 a week, which I had to do part of that when I did that program. But so the fact that even that got a lesson, I can only judge it off of one kind of class though. I don't know if every teacher's had to make it less stressful for some.
Well, with the wokeology, it's like now kids are, well, I identify as this. Well, you need to cater to this.
You got to be comfortable with me doing this.
And now the schools have to cater to the soft babies.
Is the school school harder or are the kids weaker? Like, I'm trying to.
I remember, and you guys could probably even ask your parents how their school was. I remember back then, teachers would beat kids with fucking sticks and shit. Like, they were mean.
Oh, yeah,
Principals and stuff were meaner. Now, if you're mean to a kid, the parents come in and there's, how dare you do that to my kid? Like, there's phones now.
But also the kids are more disrespectful to the older generation
Yeah.
too. So, and the adults can't apply that pressure. So,
I think for the most part, it's easier, and you can also copy. There's texting, there's group chats,
yeah, is it harder when there's all these websites, like you said, that you can just snag your answers from and just mindlessly progress through your years?
I think schoolwork and stuff is easier, but when it comes to high school and the high school life, it might be harder because then you got to navigate through all these different things. Because I remember when I was in high school, I would just go hang out, chill, whatever. It was more like, I just feel like now there's so many other aspects you got to worry about. It might be harder in that way.
I was gonna agree that I think the social aspect is hard. It could be harder because
you already grew up with a phone from
Everyone's got a
third
phone.
grade. I wasn't really on my phone until junior, senior year of high school, but obviously that's just me, so I don't know.
like most people were equally ugly in our middle school, high school. Everyone had Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister. You know, there were hierarchies.
And even in high school, like nobody really had crazy style. You could wear whatever though still in high school.
That's why I think some aspects are harder, some aspects are easier.
2, 1, go.
I feel like now, our generation, we have more resources for help that we need, you know? And way back then, like mental health, that was like, they would put you straight to camp or like some conversion, stuff like that. But I feel like now there's just more resources. We have the internet, we have the media. Like, would you have wanted to send a pigeon to your friend instead of texting your friend? Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, would you want to have, you know, we just have it easier now.
I feel like it's an in-between thing because I feel like social situations now are much better, but back then they were much worse. I feel like there was racism, teachers could beat their own kids, and I feel like now there's so much things that we cannot do, and I feel like it's for the better.
Can I move?
Just move, dude.
Yeah, you can.
You may.
That's roast in the chat.
Oh yeah, he's 16.
Because it's so easy to hide behind a screen, people say worse things. And I think that mental health, maybe it was just as bad back in the day.
Well, yeah, because it was said to your
but
face.
because of social media, it's become more prominent.
They're both bad.
You see it.
They're both bad.
Another thing
In different ways.
that I also thought about was you guys say that we have more.
Back then, you really got stuffed in a locker.
Loser. Like, yeah.
Nowadays, it's Twitter.
But I could still be bad because then I guess.
They still hurt your feelings, but
Just subtweet now.
But you could walk into school knowing everybody agrees with you. They all like that tweet.
Facts.
And you're there like, fuck, everybody agrees. Only the one kid threw in a locker and it was just kind of y'all's moment. But
yeah, your nudes couldn't get leaked back in the 80s.
bro, I remember the airdrop was a thing and somebody airdropped all girls' nudes senior year and like, yeah, it was a rough.
But now is that even a thing? Now it's $3.99 on OnlyFans.
Did you even care though? They're like, I've already seen this.
Now there's girls like, I can't wait till I turn 18 to do OnlyFans. Not all.
Different culture now.
I feel like school right now is so easy for our generation. Like, it is so incredibly easy. Like, especially now that I'm in senior year. I mean, I'm not taking incredibly hard classes, but like, they don't even give you homework because they know you won't do it. Like,
See what
That's what I'm saying.
then like teach you something. And like, the amount of kids that held back is like nothing. Like, it's just, oh, keep going ahead, go ahead, go ahead. And so like, seeing like classrooms from like older generations, it seems like, oh, they're like learning, there's more respect to the teachers. Now like there's like such little discipline that every class is just like a muck.
I feel like just because
Yes, I believe that sums it up.
I literally believe that so much.
Ryder is speaking facts. He's 2 for 2.
I want to know from the comments, anybody that's in high school, is it as facts as the yellow shirt said? I want to know if this is a majority.
You know he's telling the truth.
Is this a general thing that you're getting less homework, the kids aren't disciplined enough, and it is a muck? I like the way you described it, like it's just fuck havoc.
Or is it certain schools? Is it certain areas? Is it?
Well, we interviewed high schoolers with trivia questions, and these kids are stupid. Like, I don't think I'm a brainiac by any means, but holy fuck. I was on a college campus. I asked a girl, what shape has 6 sides? She's like, I don't, she didn't know that. I said, what's United States Independence Day? She didn't know. And these people are in college. It's like the high schoolers.
But it goes to show, like he said, yeah, they're just not giving them the homework and just kind of letting them go because the teachers don't really care, like almost either. It's like they don't want to deal with their parents and they don't want to deal with him having to say that. So, you know what? Okay, don't even do it.
Bro, I am a traditionalist where I think back then was better. Yes, they might have beaten you with a fucking thing, but at least you knew what a square and what a hexagon was.
At least everyone was behaved.
Do you think there was less distractions though because there was no phones? Although you could still dick around and go leave with your friends, hang out. Like you knew, I have to get my homework done because there's not too much other things like, oh, I gotta take care of this. I have to probably go make dinner, clean, do things for mom and dad, for the neighbors. Like
people respected authority back then. You respected your principal, you respected your teachers, you were in your place.
Yep.
Nowadays, point of privilege, don't use gendered language. Wah! And then you just cry. And
if you're just not really getting pressured while you, I don't know what the fuck that was.
do your math.
But if you're not really applying yourself these 4 years, what does that make you after that?
That's when you slowly realize that's gonna hit you like, oh damn, probably should have done my homework.
But also, whose fault is this? The teachers, they don't even want to, like you said, because they don't even want to deal with it.
Yeah.
But they also, even if they tried to make Jimmy work a little harder, Jimmy says, fuck you. So it's like,
yeah. The kids now are entitled, more entitled than ever. They don't want to be disciplined, and and the teacher don't want to discipline them. It's a shit show.
When I went back to school, I felt like I was still in 8th grade in middle school.
That's what you were saying. We kind of just pointed that out.
Like imagine you feel like a sophomore, but you're senior.
Yeah, all you remember is 8th grade.
That affected our generation, if you think about it. You know, we didn't deal with the bubonic plague or a big, stuff like that. Like this was the biggest impact. And I remember going back to school, I was so anxious. Like I would take half a Xanax, almost every morning.
She admitted that on the Jubilee.
She popping Xannies. Half a Xanax? That's a heavy ass drug.
That's a narcotic.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't just take that to study. Like,
no, but that's
people advise against that. You're not supposed to.
No, that's one of the most dangerous.
Taking Xans?
That's what I'm saying. That's what's wrong with this generation. Hey, little girl, you're anxious. Here's a Xanax.
She casually said that too.
That's not good.
Bro, I didn't even know what a Xanax was.
When I was in college, I didn't know what a Xanax was. Sorry, I knew what Adderall was. Her parents giving her Xans because she's stressed out about school. That's not normal, bro. I'm sorry. Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, that's not normal.
I feel ready to explore my sexuality. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know what that means. What is like dating and stuff?
I knew I was gay at a very young age. So I've kind of always been ready or kind of always known. Like I was over here at like 6 years old, like looking at a TV screen and there's like a boy and I was like, he's cute. Like, I was like, yeah, I already knew. So like, I feel like it just depends what you determine what exploring your sexuality is. Cause at least in my book, I feel like I've already labeled it and I'm already confident and happy with who I am.
I also grew up in a very private Christian school. It was very it was like a bubble, and we didn't talk about all that stuff, but now I attend a high school where we actually have wellness classes. Also, social media helps. Those random accounts on my For You page, they're like, how to kiss a boy or something like that. I don't even know.
What is it, WikiHow?
WikiHow, sure. Like, there's just so many courses, that's why you gotta seek them out and find a support system.
It's kind of like for our whole generation happening earlier and earlier, like where we get introduced to it with like the internet and stuff. I kind of like it to be delayed. I kind of like to be a kid for as long as I can.
But do you feel like people don't take you seriously if you continue to, act younger and want to be younger?
In the sense of like this question, like sexuality, like I feel like I'd rather, because right now it's like most of the pressure is just like, oh, I feel like I'm so behind because I haven't done this, and this yet, when it should be so normal.
It's important that we do educate.
This guy is killing it.
Once we're older, if we aren't, that could take a turn for the worse. I feel like approaching it naturally or in a professional way, like in terms of like school, if they're providing like health classes, I think that's just the best way to go about it. And I completely agree with you. Like I was also exposed to nasty on the internet and like no one wants to go through that.
I don't think that the school should do it because I think it's really weird. I can never stop laughing personally. Like when I'm in a 6th grader and they say the word scrotum, how are you not supposed to like laugh? Yeah. I don't know. I think it's more of a personal endeavor, but I guess not everyone's as smart as me, but.
He's on a different way.
He's on a different way.
Yeah, they're all like, what is this guy talking about?
I don't like the classroom, let's learn about sex, all sitting together as a bunch of teenagers. Like that's awful. That's like the worst thing ever.
I feel safe at school. 3, 2, 1, go.
Leave the kids alone. Let them be kids.
Nah, give them Xanax.
Half a day.
They have a personal relationship with all the students. I've had bomb threats at my school. I've had like shootings literally walking distance down the street where the school had to go on lockdown. It's unfortunate, but also like it just makes me really aware. Like for every classroom, I have, what's my hide plan?
We have gates, but it honestly looks like a prison.
Okay, yeah, that's me
I
too.
won't lie. We have security guards. They're not armed, which was a conversation that came up.
What are you supposed to do? Stop right there.
Conversation came up, should our teachers be armed? You know, there's just topics like that. I remember
Put the gun down.
this was actually recently, one of the old students at the college threatened to shoot up the whole school, and so even we had to go.
Yo, where did these kids go into school?
It's crazy how it's sad and crazy how common that is, and how worrisome these kids have to be about that.
My social media presence is important to me. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't particularly post, like maybe just on my story, you know, but like I'm not like constantly posting. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. Like that's a lot of people's outlets,
Is it though?
and especially creatively.
I don't own a single social media, and like not as like a flex. I'm just saying like I hate the presence of an app in my mind. Like, oh, you should do this. Like it's an app on my phone. Like I don't want to give it any part of my life. So
Damn, you really just try to have fun, man.
I think sometimes with social media nowadays, it also can fall into career, which is really weird, but that's like what I do. It's like, oh, I can't post that picture of me like flipping off the camera with my friends because like a college or a future boss, because your digital footprint is so real. But I also I love having social media. Like I've had it for years. I've always like tried to ground myself and realize that it's just for fun.
A couple years ago, I would have been right there, like on the strongly agree, you know, like, because when I moved to the new school, a lot of people were like, oh, how many followers do you have? If you had over 1,000, it's like, yo, you got clout, like you're good. Digital footprint, that is no joke.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Come sit with us.
Come back.
Damn.
Oh, she's good.
Do y'all remember that? That was ridiculous.
But I actually did have social media very young.
Yeah, me too.
I got Twitter when I was 6. My mom made it and managed it,
Yeah.
but I would still
That's weird.
That's weird.
Why was your mom making manage you a Twitter account? Who are you?
To like guide like the account. I feel like I didn't have that, unfortunately. So I feel like it just depends. Like your digital footprint could be much more harmful, like when you don't have parents that know how to handle social media or know how to prevent it. Because my parents, they've never used social media. They don't have a single account. So growing up, like begging, I don't think they knew the harmfulness of it. And I don't blame them for that at all, but I feel like that's what led to me being exposed to a lot of stuff. So I feel like definitely with the new generation, and if
Well spoken.
yeah, kids, but if I do, they're not on social media, at least for me.
When those iPad kids, I mean, those kids who use iPads, it's
My
so
sister's an iPad kid.
addicting. It's so addicting, and you need parental controls because social media is crazy. Like, or having your parents run the account, regardless, it's just that's so important.
or even having influencers like Andrew Tate who are like influencing these like
Right.
little boys to
yeah.
think that mentality is like normal.
Yeah.
I feel like social media has drastically altered my personality, especially during.
That's funny. She points out Andrew Tate. And who's the young girl's role model? And who's her role model?
What did the girls have?
Cardi B,
Ice Spice?
Kim Kardashian.
Meg Thee Stallion.
But no one would say that Ice Spice is a bad person. And is that good for young girls? I'm just asking the questions. If Andrew Tate isn't the perfect one, okay, well then who's the girl role model?
I have hope for the future. 3, 2, 1.
They're all gonna go no.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go
You know,
now.
you know.
He
said
heard
red.
all of them.
Red
Yeah.
line.
I don't know, man. Seeing an iPad kid, I'm like, wow, what job is he gonna have? You know, I mean, he knows more about like scrolling to the next video than like anything that like will help him get a job. I don't know. I don't feel like I have very much hope for our and the next generations, as like I feel we keep getting like the younger generations kept getting like profited on and like abused almost.
When I heard this question, I kind of thought about social justice and like the issues that we're experiencing right now. Like there can be a change. And I just really don't think that people back in the day were seeing that type of change. Everything was just thrown kind of under the rug, not really spoken about.
My sister is an iPad kid, and I've seen how she is, and it's like I want to say I have hope for the future, but just based off what I'm seeing, it feels like there's no change. kind of.
Damn, why they gotta end on that? And
My sister's an iPad kid.
It's funny to see the evolution of technology and how it was kind of, around where when we were younger, we didn't really know how to work it and we would have to ask our parents, can you buy me this, give me minutes for my phone or whatever it was. Now it's the other way around where the kids know everything and the parents know nothing. So that's a funny kind of concept where it's like, well, you can't even block anything from me because I'll access it from my iPad. Oh, not my iPad, my phone. Oh, I got my Snapchat, I can watch videos on there. I go to Reddit, I can watch whatever I want.
That's so true.
And that's what's kind of corrupting the generations to come.
Back then, yeah, you use the movies for entertainment, or you go see a matinee play or something, and then it's TV.
Or you watch someone on your computer.
And then it's the computer. And now, like on the Social Dilemma, notification, it's like sucking you in. Now this thing has a brain. And it's not just, I'm gonna turn the TV on and watch a movie. Now
it's controlling you.
But now you don't even have the attention to watch a movie because of that thing. It's scary because this thing knows more about you than what the computer's doing. Yeah. You know when your computer's making you pop up those ads like, oh, I gotta stop visiting that site. This phone though?
I remember there was an app I was on that I was on frequently, and then I kind of stopped using it, and like a reminder from this app that I'd never gotten before, and I'm like, oh my god, it's trying to suck me back in.
Well, yeah, I accidentally downloaded the Domino's app, so then randomly be like, hey babe, you want a 2 for $2 hungry meal? And I'm like, get the fuck away from me! And they pop up at random moments. You're like,
I'll get the Uber Eats notification. You seem hungry, like I'm hungry. You said, damn, you're right. And they put the pizza right there. Look how good. I said, click, and it's ordered. That easy. That bop, bop.
And it's only gonna be more of this.
And it's like the technology keeps going, adding on more in this AI, boom, boom, boom. So I'm curious to see how it evolves. And on the flip side of it, you can use the internet for good, but I just feel like it's being used for so much bad to the point where it's draining that out to where it's like, yeah, it's good to have access, but too much access to stuff that's messing you up.
There's limitless potential right now to create, invent, be a part of greatness with this world, but it's also like plowing down and destroying millions at the same time.
So maybe it's like, since this is this generation, maybe encourage people like he was saying, what are you gonna do being on iPad? Okay, well then let's encourage working and doing AI and tools and designing or whatever. I don't know what's gonna be the new
at least thing, but develop some crazy skills if you're gonna be on your phone all day.
Maybe the schools incorporate it or something. Like if you can't beat it, you gotta join it.
But I didn't have that many multimedia computer classes when I was in high school. The technology aspect was kind of like that on the end side.
I think the young kids aren't as smart as other generations.
I think it would be safe to say that that's true.
Ask any of your classmates, maybe if you're in high school, ask your classmate a basic ass trivia question, like what shape has motherfucking 6 sides? People can't answer that question. All I'm saying is the Ryder kid was the one kid who didn't have social media who was saying the most wisest, smartest shit.
He had the best mindset, and I think you could take something away from watching this video.
Yeah, just the house. We got a new house.
We got new stuff. We'll be coming out with vlogs showing you around, but look at that. Something crazy.
But yeah, no social media.
But yeah, see what you saw it there first. No social media versus social media and where their head was at.
I feel like the kids are doomed. Like if you get on a phone, that hijacks your dopamine, and now you don't even have motivation. That way you can't even be you can't even do nothing because your brain's hijacked. Likes, I don't have a work ethic, and then you're fucked.
How do we fix that? We can't, because I do that shit too. But the thing is, I was able to experience regular high school life, I guess, or whatever you call it, where I was able to maybe build up and create these characteristics and skills for myself, where I feel like nowadays kids aren't even willing to do anything anymore.
You had to develop a personality. How many motherfuckers that do we see walking around with? They're just gray, empty orbs.
No, everyone has the same personality, and that's a problem because everyone's just consuming the same thing and then talking like that, and then everyone's just dumb.
Well, I just saw it in the thing. Period. Like people just say the same buzz phrases, copy and paste personality off what they see online. Well, everyone says period. Well, period.
Let us know what you guys think.